Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content I will be covering today will be in the sport of football inside the NFL world. Today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my top trade destinations for wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Now, obviously, Terry McLaurin is star wide receiver for the Washington Commanders. A few weeks ago, we all know that Terry McLaurin has requested a trade out of Washington as he seeks a new significant contract in his NFL career. And Terry McLaurin, ever since requesting the trade in the beginning of the month of August, he has been MIA from the team. He has not been at training camp. He has not been at the Washington Commanders preseason games on the sidelines. He has not been around the team at all. And obviously, the Washington Commanders want Terry McLaurin back because he is a part of their long-term plans for success. This was the first time in a long time that the Washington Commanders went to the NFC Championship last year. They surprisingly shocked the NFL, went 12-5 on a year that looked like could be a rebuild year with rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels, new head coach in Dan Quinn. But everything got turned around so fast. They went 12-5. They were one game away from going to the Super Bowl last year. And I believe a new deal evidently gets done with the Washington Commanders because they know how important Terry McLaurin is going to be with this franchise. However, we're going to have some fun here because I do believe at the end of the day, Terry McLaurin should not roll down or lie down and just play without a new significant contract because he has been the best offensive player that the Commanders have had since he's been drafted, a part of that 2019 NFL draft class. And the thing about Terry McLaurin is he's been balling out all up until this point, until last season, balling out without a true franchise quarterback in Washington, still having great stats year in and year out, a consistent wide receiver. He's played with quarterbacks like Alex Smith and Alex Smith's twilight years of his NFL career, Sam Howell, Kyle Allen. The list goes on and on in the amount of quarterbacks that Terry McLaurin has played with, but has had that significant play, that consistency in Washington. Now he has his true franchise quarterback, Jaden Daniels, but up until that point, he has been carrying that Commanders offense on his back. He is well deserving of a new contract. But let's have some fun here. Let's have three teams. I have three teams for you guys that if the Washington Commanders do not give Terry McLaurin a new deal, I think these three teams fit the bill and should go after Terry McLaurin and trade for him. Team number one is the New England Patriots. Now, I have been going on a rave for the last several weeks about the New England Patriots. I think they are a sleeper team this NFL season. What a better way to start off week one with a bang. You still got time to make a trade, make a phone call to the Washington Commanders, and trade for Terry McLaurin. Now, I do believe that the New England Patriots are building a new culture. Going to go back to their winning ways in New England. Mike Vrabel is going to bring the best out of this team. Really well, and has the experience in the National Football League. And I think the offensive line is going to be better, protecting Drake May up front. Will Campbell, they spent their first-round pick on from LSU. But I think Drake May is going to have a really strong sophomore season in his NFL career. Plus, they already have Stephon Diggs as their number one wide receiver. Don't get me wrong, Stephon Diggs is still a phenomenal player, but he is coming off that torn ACL injury. So there could be question marks how much volume and how much Stephon Diggs could truly bring to the New England Patriots early on in the season. You bring in Terry McLaurin, you have him playing alongside Stephon Diggs, and you have Terry McLaurin locked up long-term, and that gives Drake May a true number one wide receiver to work with for years in New England. Plus, we know Terry McLaurin can work with any quarterback in the National Football League and just proved that he can work with a young one. Him and Jaden Daniels had a lot of success with the Washington Commanders last year. They were just one game shy of going to the Super Bowl last year. But I think it would be in the New England Patriots' best interest if they could trade for Terry McLaurin very soon, and that could benefit them and this franchise moving forward. But I think that's a perfect trade destination for Terry McLaurin. Next team would be the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I do believe the Los Angeles Chargers trading for Terry McLaurin, giving the Washington Commanders a phone call, this would be best for business for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I think this would be a perfect scenario for Terry McLaurin. You could play with arguably a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League in Justin Herbert. Jim Harbaugh looks like he's building a winning culture out there in LA. But also, for the Chargers' sake, landing a wide receiver like Terry McLaurin, this would give the Chargers an extra boost that they need, competing in one of the most dangerous divisions in the National Football League, the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're looking to win their 10th straight divisional title. The Denver Broncos aren't playing around. The Raiders are getting a little better. So this will give the Chargers a boost that they need to even win the AFC West. They can, but this even would put them at the top of the line to do it. But the offense would be very scary in LA if they could pull this off. They would have Justin Herbert at quarterback, Terry McLaurin and Ladd McConkey playing on two different sides, lining up on the same offensive side of the ball, but lining up on two different opposing cornerbacks. They also drafted rookie Trey Harrison from Ole Miss in the second round of the NFL draft. You could put him in the slot. Their backfield at the running back position, we know Jim Harbaugh loves to run the football. They have Najee Harris and the running back Hampton from North Carolina. So this offense would be loaded. And this would actually be a good pickup financially if they could get Terry McLaurin, because if you trade for Terry McLaurin, you would lock him up to a long-term deal. It wouldn't be a one-year rental, obviously. So you lock him up, plus a lot of players, a lot of good pieces on this Los Angeles Chargers team are under rookie contracts. So financially, that helps the Chargers in the long run if they can make the phone call to the Washington Commanders and take Terry McLaurin away from the NFC East. I think that would be great to see, me being a Cowboys fan. But I truthfully think those two teams are definitely deserving of a wide receiver like Terry McLaurin. And I think that would be two great trade destinations. I got one more for you guys. The final team would be the New York Jets. Now, I think this would be good for any quarterback that's going to be the franchise quarterback for the New York Jets for sake of the future, whether it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be the starter this year, or after this year, depending on how Justin Fields plays. They want to get a new franchise quarterback, draft one in the 2026 NFL draft, or bring one for free agency. If you have Terry McLaurin in the same offense as Garrett Wilson, lining both of them up on each side of the ball, on the other side of the ball, I think that's great for business for the New York Jets. And I think that with Terry McLaurin's skill set of being so consistent, and Garrett Wilson being a really good route running wide receiver, acrobatic catcher in midair, will go out and catch the ball in any which way that he needs to do for his quarterbacks and the New York Jets offense. I think this is best for business. And the signing, if you trade for Terry McLaurin, you're going to have to sign him up to a long-term deal, or it becomes a rental, which you don't want to do for one of the best wide receivers in the league. But locking up Terry McLaurin and Garrett Wilson to long-term deals is not impossible to think of. For anybody thinking financially wise, it won't work out. Now, obviously, this summer, the New York Jets spent some big bucks re-signing Garrett Wilson, re-signing Sauce Gardner. But if you think about it, the Eagles do this. They pay A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They got them locked up on some big-time contracts. The Cincinnati Bengals are doing it right now with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. The Miami Dolphins do it with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So it's not impossible to pay two wide receivers big contracts in the National Football League, because I just mentioned three teams that are doing it right now with some great wide receiver duos in the National Football League. But I truly think those three teams would be beneficial for Terry McLaurin if he is traded by the Washington Commanders very soon. Again, I think he does overall stay in D.C. because the Washington Commanders truly need him. And they won't be the same football team without Terry McLaurin on the field. You got your franchise quarterback, yes, but every franchise needs a true dynamic number one wide receiver. Or what is your offense going to look like when you're down by 10 points or more? Or in 2-minute drills when you need a true number one to step up and make the big time plays to go down the field and score you points. Every single team needs a true number one wide receiver. The Commanders know that, and I think it's only a matter of time before they sign Terry McLaurin. But if they don't, I think those three teams should give Terry McLaurin a phone call to acquire number 17 services. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.